So welcome to our practice for this hour. We're practicing yin yoga, really held, slow, coming into our bodies and our breath with awareness. And I've chosen these poses today, ones to kind of help us stay limber and cool and fresh through summer. So I invite you to begin by coming into child's pose. So you can have the knees together or apart. Come this way. Sitting back on your heel, where you might add support would be under your bottom if that's too deep, under your ankles if your ankles don't like sitting flat. You may have a nice cushion here underneath your belly. Head to the side, other side, or center. Or you may have no supports at all, whatever suits you. And just begin to tune into your breath. In just a moment, I'm going to read you our reading for tonight, just to set a theme for our practice. But for now, I just want you to settle in. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the feel of your body. Be conscious of what it took to get here. What there was in your day. And making the conscious intention just to let that go. For this hour at least, you can always pick back up the thoughts, the worries, anything from the day that you still want to carry with you. You can always pick it back up. But for this hour, make the intention to be with yourself, by yourself, for yourself. Creating a conscious intention for how you choose to be. And then I'll read you these words from Carl Sagan that we're sitting with through our practices this week. He says, "Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark." He wrote this about a picture that was taken of the Earth from all the way the other side of the Earth, the galaxy just past Pluto. So looking back at all the planets and the sun. He says, "In our obscurity and all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. It is up to us." It's been said that astronomy is a humbling, and I might add a character building experience. To my mind, there's perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly and compassionately with one another, and to preserve and cherish that pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. And so this is a chance to take responsibility, to be kind, to be compassionate with yourself. And so beginning to tune into your breath and finding within each pose, we'll look for that still point. So scanning the body, and finding within this pose that still point. One place within you where there is a natural place of peace. And then I invite you, as you find that still point, and even if you have to adjust your position to find it, to then begin to bring the ocean breath, the ujjayi breath, into this moment. So that whispering breath, where you feel like you're fogging a mirror, and begin initially with just the out breath. So let the in-breath flow in through the nose as normal, and begin to constrict the throat slightly to fog the mirror on the out-breath. It should make a bit of a hissing or whispering noise in your throat. Feel how that begins to slow the breath and brings your awareness to the breath. And then from child's pose, we're going to give a little stretch to our toes. So I invite you to use your hands to support yourself to sit up. And then tuck your toes under. Make sure you get all the toes, even your pinky toe. Don't let them escape out to the side. And breathe in and sit back on your toes. Sit up nice and tall. If this is too intense, then bring some weight back into your hands like in a cat position. You can feel how as you bring weight into your hands, you ease the stretch on your toes. And then sit back if possible, or just do a little bit of a rock forward and back. If you want to completely release the toes for a moment, because we'll be here for a couple of minutes, then you could do a few cat-cows. And then tuck the toes and come back into this toe squat. So we're feeling the toes get a nice stretch, a flexion. Feel the spine rising with the inhalation. The shoulders settling with the exhalation. Face softening, eyes closing. And then scanning the body, releasing any little pockets of tension, if possible, just inviting release with your out breath. And then seeing if you can find, once again, that still point. It's there within you. It's always there. Might be subtle. And then Ujjayi, the whispering breath, on the exhalation. So breathing in, breathing out, Ujjayi, whisper it out. Releasing the toes if and when you need to. Coming into some cat-cow or just taking some pressure off. Allowing self-care to be at the foremost of your priorities. So you're taking responsibility to modify, to rest, to release when you need to. And also, if it feels right, challenging yourself without tipping over the edge. In yin, we stay right back from the edge. So everything stays nurturing and nourishing. But there is a real challenge in holding for this long. It may allow that deeper layer of release, of discovery of where we're holding hidden pockets of tension. Allowing that soft whispering out breath to bring a wave of peace and relaxation down through the whole of your body, from the crown of the head, and especially down to the toes. The health of our feet is so important. It's the foundations for how we walk on this earth, how we stand, the foundation of our posture, which has such a profound effect on the health of our joints, our organs, on our breath. So breathing in long and deep, and then breathing out. Bring yourself into cat position. Point the toes and give the toes a little shake. Circle them around, circle at the ankles. Beautiful. Point and flex, just release the feet. And then from this position, you're going to take your right leg out to the side. Have the toes facing towards the front. You should get a little stretch into the right inner thigh. You may like to sort of lean forward and back a bit and just find what angle feels nice for the stretch here, whether more weight comes forward or sitting back a bit. And then breathing in, take the right arm up to the sky. And breathing out, bring the right hand under the left armpit and stretch over towards the left and bring your ear to the ground. Breathe in, lift to the sky, look up towards the sky, stretch through that shoulder, arm, the back, and breathe out. Thread the needle underneath the left armpit, bring your ear down. If that's too low, then you don't have to come that far down. You could even use a chair or your block to support yourself, or cushions, lifting and opening. Let's do two more with movement, and then we're going to settle into that threaded pose. And out. And pause here. Adjust the shoulder if you need to. Come higher. I'll show you how I can rest on a block and keep it a bit higher. Take some of the intensity out. Or a low block or a cushion. Breathing here. If possible, relaxing down onto the elbow of the left arm. And then once again, inviting Ujjayi. And so I'm going to introduce now Ujjayi on the in-breath as well. So breathing in as if you're fogging a mirror behind you as you draw the breath in. And Ujjayi on the out-breath. Feel that whispering breath in and out. And then breathing in, bring the right hand underneath the right shoulder, left hand under the shoulder, rise up. And a few little modified cat-cows here with the legs still extended. You can see I've put a cushion under my knee. It was a bit hard where I was. So if your knee ever needs extra support. And then you're going to sit back into a half child's pose, arms extended, legs still out to the side, and we're going to stay here a bit. And again, you can support the head. You could have the arms up on a chair if you wanted to be higher, or your bed. You could have cushions here to support the chest. Make a little nest for yourself where you can relax and soften into this. If it doesn't feel right to have the leg out to the side, you could bring it back in, normal child's pose. Or you could even be sitting in a chair with your leg out to the side, getting an inner thigh stretch with less intensity on the rest of the body. And then I'm going to give you a count now for the Ujjayi breath. So it's going to be Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4 on the inhalation. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4 on the exhalation. So the in-breath and the out-breath are equal. And allow that natural pause at the top of the inhalation and the natural pause at the end of the exhalation. And we're going to take 5 more cycles of breath here. Exploring the still point within you. Exploring where you can release tension, where you can invite softness, where you may need support, being compassionate to yourself. I should say, you could also do this sitting in a chair with your arms up on a bench top or the wall and the leg out to the side. That would also be quite beautifully stretching for the shoulders, opening for the inner thigh. Again, not quite as intense as this position. And then breathing in, bring your weight forward onto the hands, bring the leg back, and beginning to create some circular cow, cat-cow movements, creating circles with your hips, your head, looking side to side. Beautiful. And then taking the left leg out to the side, rock forward and back. Gently find the point that feels good for you. And then take the left arm high, stretch to the sky. And the right arm, left arm coming under the right. Breathe in, lift high, stretch, look upward. Breathe out, twist and look to the right. Breathe in, rise, open, look. Breathe out, come down and twist. 2 more here. Introducing this slowly to your body, letting the head follow if that's comfortable. And then pausing here Relaxing into this thread the needle position for just about 5 breaths before we relax back into half child's. Remembering that you could have your head on a chair instead. You could have cushions, blocks supporting you. Might want to relax the right arm down to the elbow, looking towards the right side or keeping the head centered, whatever's comfortable. Whispering the breath in and out. And with that whispered breath, there's never any strain. If it doesn't feel right, you could let it go. You don't have to make it particularly long. And then bringing the right palm back to the ground if it's not there already. One last little twist, looking up over the right shoulder. And then coming to center, sitting back into this half child's pose, arms extended. I'm using a block to support my head. You may have a cushion or a chair. You may be sitting in a chair and the arms up the wall or on a bench top or on the bed. So many ways to vary this, focusing on this leg extending so you get this inner thigh stretch and the shoulders long and extended to open up the shoulders. If you're in the child's pose, you also get that squeezing through the abdomen. And so counting the ujjayi here. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, if possible to 5 now. And on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5 on your exhalation, and not going any higher than that. If 5 is too long, then go back to 4. We're looking for this sort of magic number of 5 to 6 cycles of breath per minute, which we know brings us into this state of what they call cardiac coherence, where your nervous system settles, your heart functions quite efficiently, your blood pressure stabilizes. It's a place of ease for the body. Through your breath, letting the body know that all is well. And as any of the postures with yin, if it becomes too intense, explore first. Is there some modification I can make? Or coming out for a moment. In this position, you might just sit up for a moment, relax, and then come back down, or bring the knee in. Even though yin is slow, it can be much more challenging as layers of tension are released. And then I invite you now to come back forward onto the hands, bring the leg back into child's once again. And another couple of cat-cows. And then let's move into lizard pose to stretch into the hips. So you're going to bring your right leg forward. The left leg stays back in the low lunge. I'm going to support my knee again. And take the arms, let's just introduce it. Take the arms high and then down. Breathe in, your arms rise, and out. So that left knee comes back far enough that you're getting a stretch in that front hip flexor. The right knee just above the ankle. Breathe. And arms come down. We're going to rest here in lizard pose, which means bringing the hands to the inside of the right foot. And here we pause. If it feels better, you get a sense that it's hitting a better spot for you, you could let the right knee open outward and roll to the outside, the pinky toe side of the right foot. Experiment to see how that feels, or keep the foot nice and grounded and the knee close to the shoulder, so whatever feels right for you. If this is too low for you, you could be supported on a block, as I'm doing here, so a bit higher. Or you could have a chair in front of you and your hands on the chair. So you take intensity out by bringing the arms higher. And then scan through the body. Roll the shoulders back and down wherever you are. Feel the breath. Invite a softening from the crown of the head down through the body, pausing with the breath on those points that feel like they're offering resistance. So explore that resistance, that edge. Is this something that needs to be supported and nurtured? Or can I breathe and move past a place of tension? Is there a pattern here of holding? And do I need to come out? If you do, you can rest back towards the hips and lengthen through the right leg, and then come back in when you're ready. And then let's add the count of the breath as you find that still point within you. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and out, 2, 3, 4. Feeling the gentle pause at the top of the inhalation and the gentle pause at the end of the exhalation. Softening the eyes, the jaw, the shoulders, and that left hip. 3 more cycles here. Come out if you need to. If you do come out, do so mindfully. Make a conscious choice, not just because the brain is getting fidgety, wanting to wander off and do other things. And now, bringing the weight back, taking the arms overhead, stretching upward. Breathe out, open wide with the arms. And we trade legs. So now the left leg comes forward, right leg is back. Find that place of stretch into the front of the right hip, and then breathe in, take the arms high. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, stretch and lengthen. Breathe out, fold and open. Breathe in and out. And then we settle into lizard. So hands to the inside of the left ankle. Using a cushion or a block or a chair. If it's too deep to have the hands on the ground. If you know you're really stretchy through the hips, then you may have your elbows on the ground. But you want to try not to round the shoulders to get there, but rather keep the shoulders back and the chest coming forward, which may mean you're higher than you think. You could then roll to the outside of the left pinky toe side of the left foot, if that gives you a nicer feeling through where you're releasing around the hip. Check in with the front of your right thigh and hip where you're getting the stretch into that hip flexor. And feel the strength in your shoulders, drawing them back, pressing into the earth. Chin is slightly tucked, so the back of the neck is long. Scan through the body. Find holding. Find where you can invite softness and release. Especially soften the jaw and the face, or if you know there's somewhere else you tend to hold tension, soften there. And breathe. Add the ujjayi now. Whispering in, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Following the breath to awareness, to peace. Befriending whatever's here in this moment. Whatever is here in this moment, it's already here. Roll out the welcome mat. Bring some gentleness, some compassion. Releasing if you need to. Notice if there's a difference between this side and the other. The other side I kept feeling the need to extend that right leg and release, but on this side I don't. You might feel there's a difference as well. And then breathing in, bring your weight back, take the arms high, stretch to the sky, and breathe out, open wide. And then you're going to bring yourself onto all fours. We're going to come into cow face pose, so another outer hip stretch now. So we begin on all fours, and you're going to want to have cushions or a block close by that we'll use to prop up our hips. And taking the left leg forward and around the right knee, just like as if you were sitting in a chair and you were crossing your legs. And then make some space behind so that you've got a V that you're going to put your bottom into. So I'll just tell you now, and we're going to sit back into that. You make it more intense the further apart your heels go, and less intense the closer your feet are together. You may even be sitting on your, what would it be, your right heel, if you don't have a lot of flexibility there in the hips. But if you've opened up and created a space there, you might be able to sit into that space, or you might need a block or a pillow or a cushion there just to prop the hips up a little bit more. And then once you're there, you might be able to work the heels apart a bit more. So this is probably enough for me here. In fact, I might even go a little bit higher with a block on top of my cushion. And that lets me sit quite comfortably in this cow face pose. Now, if you're just finding there's no place here that's going to be okay for your hips, then you could take the bottom leg, so your right leg forward, and just have that left leg over. You'll still be creating more openness through that left hip. And meanwhile, tucked around behind if you've got both legs. And then you have a choice to sit here, if that's enough, not letting that bottom stick out, but keeping the sacrum reaching for the ground, spine reaching tall. Take the arms wide if you're here. And then we're going to just do eagle pose with the hands, so spreading the fingers wide, thumbs interlaced in front of the heart. Just to center, and then we're going to go a bit more intense with the shoulder stretch in a moment. Let's let ourselves settle for a second, build some focus. Make any adjustments you may need to make. It's often an intense pose for people. Really good. You can feel the stretch through the hips, through the ankles. Now if you want to go more intense, you could take the arms wide. Take the right elbow over the left. Interlace the forearms and palms touching if possible. Lift the elbows and breathe. If you like and you want a different type of intensity, you could lean forward here. Or you could release the arms and have the hands supporting you as you lean forward, focusing on the stretch in the hips. So you've got a few variations there. Or if you've got enough and you're sitting upright, you might even massage into the point at the balls of the feet, that reflexology point. Let's take 5 more cycles of breath here using Ujjayi. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. There's nothing to fix here. I am whole and complete as I am. And taking this time to be with my body, with myself. And taking the arms overhead. And back down. And from here, I invite you just to sort of release the legs a bit and bring the arms back to support you. The right foot comes onto the ground. The left leg slides over, so it's just the ankle of the left foot over the right knee. And you can just stay here, resting on your arms, getting a bit of stretch into that hip, or roll yourself back onto the ground. Straighten the right leg, keep that knee up. That feels good, stay here. Offer a little bit of a hamstring stretch through the right leg and a hip stretch on the left. Or the next 3 breaths, just holding the outside of the knee or the back of the knee. Concentrating the stretch in the thigh, in the left hip. 2 more cycles of breath, Ujjayi. One more cycle. And then putting that right foot back down. And the left leg, you might have to adjust your hips over to the left. Placing that leg down over on the outside of the right hip and then look left. You may need to hold the foot or hold the knee. You want to try to have the sole of the left foot on the ground to the outside of the right hip. Breathing here, looking to the left or wherever the head's coming. And then release the legs. Bring both knees up and give them a little circle around and a little tap. And bringing yourself up to sitting, and we'll come to the other side of cow face. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, back into cat-cow. This time the right leg comes forward and crosses over the left. Make some space behind you. You might have to take your right calf muscle, I should have said this before, kind of up and out of the way. You might feel that it pinches. And then taking a cushion or a block or both. You might find the support you need on this side is different to the support you needed on the other. Make any little adjustments. Skin that's pinching. Sit up nice and tall. Remember, it's more intense the more you take your heels away from the center line. Less intense as you keep them in close or even sit on your heels. And if this is just not comfortable, then bring that left leg out and forward. And you can still do the arm movements here. Breathe. Take the arms wide if you want to add a shoulder stretch. Take the left elbow over the right. Interlace the arms. Take the shoulders high. Breathe here. Or lean forward. Experiment with what feels good there. Or you have the option to release the arms and lean forward over the legs, concentrating on the stretch in the hips, or massaging with your thumbs into the point of the balls of your feet. Let's take 3 more cycles of breath, whatever you've chosen. Ujjayi, slow, conscious. Often yin is a lot more challenging for the mind. There's less to do. And so you begin to notice all the fluctuations of the mind. You don't have to fight against that, but rather just watch it. As you focus on the rhythm of the breath, feel of the body, the feel of the breath. Gently watch where the mind goes. And then feel your way back into your body. And then as we come out of cow face, bring the left foot to the ground, the right ankle out. Support yourself here. Let that right knee open outward. Stay here or come down onto the ground. Knee opens outward. Lift that left leg to the sky. And a gentle stretch in that hamstring and an opening in the right hip. And then bending the knee, holding the outside of the knee, the top of the knee, or behind the knee. Sometimes the front of the knee is a bit too intense. And then bring that left leg down, adjust your hips over to the right. Let that right foot come down to the outside of the left leg. Hang on to it. You can either keep that left knee bent or straight. You can play with how that feels and look to your right or wherever it's comfortable for your head. Press that right foot down, hang on to it. Breathe. Slow and whispering sound of the ocean in your breath. If you did nothing else for this 60 minutes, but do the ocean breath with that 4-4 or 5-5 count, you would be doing so much good for your body, for reducing stress, for bringing in the parasympathetic system with rest, digesting, healing, releasing and lowering stress, anxiety. The breath is so powerful. But we're doing the added benefit of releasing through our joints, through our muscle held tension, which sometimes we forget is even there. It just starts to feel normal. And then release the leg. Bring yourself to center with your body. Hold the soles of the feet. Come into happy baby and just have a play, whether it's happy baby or knees to chest. Just take a moment of release. Letting go. And then we're going to roll over onto your belly, coming into Sphinx position. Lengthening through the spine. Now, if this isn't right for you to lay on your belly in this way, then you may want to come to standing and do a standing cat instead. So the cat-cow, but do it standing. So we're looking for this opening through the back of the spine. If you're doing it standing, then after a few, about 10 repetitions of standing cat-cow, then standing at the wall, taking your hands up the wall, taking your bottom sort of back away to get this arch in the back, not too strong, just enough to open up the heart. And so we're in Sphinx here. We're on the ground. Wherever you are, and scanning through the body. Finding the still point within you. If you'd rather be supported in this with cushions, so you don't have to hold yourself up through your elbows, then do feel free. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. And then bringing yourself down onto the elbows. Thumbs resting at Ajna, so a gentler back bend here. Softening down. each out breath, feel it flowing down through the body. Three more cycles of breath here. One for letting go. One for finding your still point. And one for dropping into a deeper layer of peace. And then bringing the hands under the shoulders, bringing yourself up onto all fours. And then bringing the legs around, our last pose today before Shavasana. Soften the knees with cushions, pillows. As you breathe in and sit up tall, and then breathe out, come into forward fold. So you have options here with your head for support. You might feel completely supported, just relaxing forward over your legs or arms. You may rest on your elbows, holding your forehead. You may find a block between your legs is enough to hold the head. A cushion resting on your legs to hold the head. Softening eyes, jaw, shoulders. A softening breath down the spine. Softening the belly. The legs. If possible, softening any holding in the neck. In for 5 and out for 5. And then breathing in, rising up, keeping the support underneath the knees. You sit up nice and straight. Press the heels down firm, the lower abdominals. Allow yourself to round through the shoulders as you slowly uncurl yourself. Roll yourself one vertebra at a time down to the ground and into Shavasana. Placing a cushion underneath the head if you need to. Supports wherever it would be comfortable. I always think if you have them, why not use them? Really nurture your body. And if the breathing still feels good to you, then I invite you to lengthen the out breath even further. If it doesn't feel good and it feels nice to just let the breath be free, then please do that. But otherwise, it's in for 4 and out for 8, or in for 5 and out for 10. And it's a really gentle whispering breath. It doesn't have to be a strong constriction at the throat, just really soft. And then I invite you to do a soft modified version of Shambhavi Mudra, where as you keep the eyes closed, you look towards the center of the eyebrows. So you're physically moving the eyes to look towards the center of the eyebrows, but keeping them closed. Usually this is a mudra done with the eyes open. It's softer with them closed, but the eyes will still fatigue fairly quickly. So focus your attention there. Breath is slow. Body is soft. Sense of settling into peace with each exhalation. And then resting the eyes, let them go back to normal. Feel softness through the whole of your body. My little friend is here with us. Somehow it's mucked up our music. I'm having a sense like Carl Sagan, from our reading at the beginning, the famous astronomer and astrophysicist, of looking down on yourself from above. Begin as if you're just hovering just above yourself and looking at yourself lying here. And raising your perspective up as if you're high in the sky, seeing yourself and all that's around you. A higher perspective, a wider perspective. And then having a sense of yourself from outer space, just a minuscule dot on the pale blue earth. And then from all the way at the end of our chain of planets, past Pluto, looking back at all the planets in our galaxy, the stars, the sun, and you somewhere in amongst all the tiny dots, microscopic now. And then slowly bringing that vision back in closer, just hovering up there amongst the clouds again. Coming down back into the room, just above your body. See yourself here, see the expression on your face, the position of your body. And then feel yourself back in your body. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just feel the breath, the body, and this moment. Feeling what it's like to be in your body, to be in the flow of your breath, to be you here in this moment. And then taking the intention that you set for your practice tonight. Have you choose to be in this life and reaffirming it. And then whether you're lying or sitting, bringing your hands to your heart. We'll seal our practice with one Om, breathing in deeply. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti Om. Peace. Feeling the highest within yourself, the highest within everyone in your life, and the highest in all beings. As we bow together and say Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining the practice tonight.